Based. It's not a pager. I'm pretty sure those are kind of update by now. But it's an insulin pump, and here's a close-up so you guys can see it. And it's basically my lifeline. For type 1 diabetics, we literally and figuratively cannot live without insulin therapy. But these days, it's getting harder and harder to access insulin price-wise. And it's taking a huge financial and medical toll on those suffering with this disease. Today, I want to explain to you why prices for insulin should be lowered and become more affordable for those who need it, and how we can work together to achieve this goal. So basically, I ate a bunch of sugar, I didn't work out, and that's how I got this disease, right? No. While this might be true for type 2 diabetics, type 1 diabetes is a whole nother thing. Type 2 diabetics, they still produce insulin, but they cannot use it. But for type 1 diabetics, our pancreas is destroyed, according to the American Diabetics Association. In a healthy body, our pancreas produces insulin so that when we eat foods, the starches that convert to glucose can be taken out of our bloodstream and go to our cells to create energy. But for people like me, our pancreas is destroyed, and the glucose cannot be carried out of the bloodstream, so it starts to build up. We need insulin therapy, which means giving ourselves insulin through shots or this pump, in order to survive and get the sugar out of our bloodstream. So, according to the Diabetes by Numbers by Anne Pietrangelo, 1 out of 10 Americans has diabetes. According to the Rising Cost of Insulin by Alison Tsai, there are only a few companies out there that produce insulin, such as Humalog and Novolog. And so, with only this small amount of companies, there's very minimal competition in the insulin market. So therefore, they're allowed to set the starting price at whatever number they want it to be. And then, they can afford to jack up the prices because they want to make profit, of course. But we can't live without it. In my economics class, my professor Michael Marlowe talked about the concept of an inelastic good. An inelastic good is a good that no matter how much the price rises, the demand still remains high because people need it. And that this goes for insulin. I'm lucky because my mom works at Kaiser, and I can afford these. We're allowed to get these products at really good prices because of what she does. But as working in chronic conditions, my mom talks about her patients and how the people of lower socioeconomic status suffer from these high prices, and thus the consequences of poor diabetes care because they can't afford it. According to the High Cost of Diabetes article by Miriam E. Tucker, lifetime healthcare spending is between $14,000 and $160,000 higher for people with diabetes than those without this disease. This is caused by the rising of insulin per millimeter. According to the expenditures and prices of anti-hyperglycemic medications in the U.S., the price for diabetes per millimeter has increased from $4.34 per millimeter in 2002 to $12.92 per millimeter. And to put that as a visual, one vial of insulin has 10 units, so one vial that can last about 3 weeks is $120 itself. So that starts to add up over time. Amy Pitchey for CBS Money Watch says the price of insulin has skyrocketed almost 400% since 2006. And in this graph from the Washington Post, we can see how it started in 1996 at $21 and is now a whopping $255. So we don't choose to have this disease, so why are we to pay the price? Type 1 diabetics, who's in the graph, was talking about her family finances and says, we managed to survive, but we shouldn't have to pay so much for something that we need to live. It's not like we can take a break from it or cater around just for emergencies. We need it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Without insulin and having a high blood sugar, consequences can be deathly. The American Diabetes Association statistics about complications and comorbid conditions reinforced by the rising global burden of diabetes talks about how diabetes is the primary cause of kidney failure, how 28.5% of diabetics have retinopathy damage, and how we're 2 times as likely to have hypertension and stroke. So it's pretty safe to say if we don't take care of ourselves, this disease can be deadly. But this only happens if it is untreated, and with affordable insulin, we can lower these numbers. So just like you guys are wishing that there's a Black Friday sale for tuition, diabetics are out there wishing that there was a Black Friday Friday sale for insulin. But since this isn't in the near future, we have to get our voices out there for big companies to hear our concerns. The users of EpiPens are voicing their concerns out there because they're experiencing the same high costs for their medication. CVS has been covering their concerns, and now big law firms are hearing what they need. Courtney Johnson, the president of the Type 1 Diabetes Club here at Cal Poly, says, "I don't understand how a product for a one-time emergency is getting more attention than medicine needed 24/7 just to survive. We need to follow their footsteps and get our voices heard, that there can be a price ceiling set for insulin prices so that it can be affordable for all. If we get our voices heard, affordable insulin for all diabetics will cause less financial strain, less long-term devastating effects such as kidney failure, and less trips to the hospital. If you also believe that insulin should be lowered for type 1 diabetics, you can sign the ADA Stop Diabetes Pledge, a movement to end the devastating toll that diabetes takes on the individual and their family. All you have to do is sign. You don't have to, if you don't feel comfortable going besides this, you're just saying that you're on board and that you know the problem that's going on. If you do want to continue, you can advocate, go on walks, bike rides, volunteer, or donate some money. Be a part of the change that will better the lives of those who have to bear this chronic disease every second of every day."